Hello, my name is Jack Nierenstein, and I could help you with your most often worked physical activity. It is all speeds from walking, jogging, running, and sprinting. They're all the same method, and everybody needs help with it, because all the coaches were wrong in their method, and I'm going to prove to you in a matter of 1 minute that I've got the right method to run with. Okay, now you could hold me up in the pose position. You could just hold me in the shoulders. Now, this is a position that the pose method wants you to stay at and run at without changing that angle. Now, obviously, if you stride, you have to change the angle because one foot goes forward and the other foot goes back. What would happen if you stayed at this angle, lower me down some? I'd be falling down to the ground. Now, okay, now to you in 1 minute that I have the logical science that everybody could see. It is just as simple to see how we run as Newton's law of what goes up must come down. What do you do to take your first step forward? You ask people that, and they're dumbfounded. They don't know what to say. But everybody does it the right way. You lift your front support, you're off balance, and gravity pulls you forward. Now that always happens that way, but there are 3 different ways you can lift your front support. One, with one foot in front of the other, you lift your front foot. With your feet side by side, you lift your toes and you're ahead of your heels, and you start going forward. And then with one foot behind, you could lift your weight off your front foot by lifting with your back foot, and you're going ahead that way. Okay, now all these methods are actually used in starting to run. You cannot do it any other way. Now, here is something that people don't realize, and that is that if you run a few steps forward and backward, you drop your feet to the rear to go forward and far out front to go backward. You're off balance in each direction, and that's why you're moving. Your strides are always off balance. What happens is that you, in a steady pace, your foot lands slightly ahead of your waist, and it goes far behind. So there's only a slight correction, slow down, and a larger speed up. That makes the strides off balance, and if you get back to a balanced position, you'll be standing in place. Now, here is something that people don't realize, that if you stay in a balanced position, there are no muscles that can get you to go forward. Just try that. If you're balanced, if you're not putting yourself off balance, you can't go forward.
Sure can.
Your muscles don't work that way.
Right.
Okay. So that you cannot push yourself forward to move. You have to get yourself off balance and stay off balance in order to walk, jog, run, and sprint. All the same method.
Right.
Now, we all learn to run correctly as a baby.
Right.
But we learned it with our instincts and muscle memory, but we weren't conscious of the method that we were using. But everyone runs the same way. They run with my method, but my method actually allows you to protect yourself from getting injured, makes it easier to run, and also at the same time, it increases your performance enormously because you know that you have to be more off balance in order to pick up more speed. The more off balance you are, the faster you run, but you can't get very far off balance until your reflexes to be able to exchange your feet fast in order to catch you get developed. So you have to be able to develop faster reflexes, and the best way to do it is to get more off balance and try to be able to exchange your feet faster. And as you keep doing that, your reflexes will increase by you trying to get yourself more off balance. Now, when we were a baby, we were holding on to something and we were afraid to let go. And what happened is that when we let go, we first started to fall because we did what the pose method and the chi method want you to do. We didn't stride, and we fell down to the floor, which is and eventually we learned to stride and be able to walk, and then run by getting more off balance. We did all this by instinct and not any kind of knowledge of what to tell our bodies to do. Now, experts, they show you an angle to run at and how high the foot should come and all that, but you don't need to know any of that, because if you could land over here or you could land back here by just telling yourself to be more off balance. So you don't really have to know precise angles or anything like that, where they get technical, but they don't even, they don't know how to run. What they do is they study videos of people running and saying, well, it should be this high or it should be at this angle and things like that, but you don't have to know that at all. All you have to know is more off balance or less off balance. Right. Now there's a big trend in running right now, which is barefoot running, barefoot running method. And what they tell you is that when you run with shoes, you're forced to land far out front, and with a straight leg, which is totally ridiculous, you can land at the same part of the foot with shoes on as you can with you could land on the same part of the foot with shoes on as you can with barefoot.
Yes.
You could
foot a little higher.
you could land on your toes with shoes. Right. You could land on your heels, and you could keep the knee bent, right, which you're supposed to do anyway, slightly bent and give a little bit in order to absorb the impact. And it looks like this here. Okay.
Straight up.
You run. Now, people don't know how to work with gravity, and what we did working with gravity, I knew what I was doing, but of course I'm 85 and a half years old, so but anyway, what we both did in order to pick up speed was drop our feet behind our waist as much as we could in order to pick up speed with each step. The first step isn't very fast, but each step gets faster and faster as you go along, and all of a sudden you're running at full speed. But I knew this, and people don't know that that's what they're doing in order to pick up speed. And right?
You have to, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. Now, there are a lot of other things. I've got a video that takes an hour to show, but this is just a few-minute video to introduce a new running method and show that it cannot be done another way. You cannot pick up speed without dropping your feet far behind. You cannot stay at a steady pace when you drop your feet far behind. Your foot comes ahead and goes behind, slightly ahead. And in order to slow down, your feet come very far ahead, and gravity pulls you back to bring you to a centered position where you're standing in place. And that is an absolute science.
Yeah, push pull method. Yeah,
you cannot run any other way. You cannot walk any other way.
That's right.
You cannot sprint any other way. When you're sprinting and you're getting down over here, you're doing the same thing as like getting off balance. You're getting off balance like this here.
And when you come up.
Yep, using gravity.
Hi everybody, my name is Darren McCoy. Baseball, football, basketball, my sports. Run a 40 in 4.3. Running and athletics is my life. The bottom line is that once he introduced his philosophies and everything, it just all made sense. You know, when you're trying to speed, because you're always trying to get that extra second to get to that one step is a difference between an out and getting on base. So you know that extra juke, you know, that extra step is important, and knowing when to get that drop, how to get that extra speed and not running upright and all this other nonsense, and then you end up hurting, you're pulling muscles. His method makes sense. It's gravity. It allows you to work on your own self angles and just in proper speed without hurting yourself. And so it's about balance. And I really recommend that you take a look at his book, take a look at his other videos, and I'm sure that you will not only increase your speed, but you'll stay healthy and safe.
Hi, I'm Patty. I'm not an athlete for life. I was an overweight mom, stayed at home with my children, ate what they ate, didn't exercise, didn't work out, didn't take care of my body, gained 100 pounds.
Wow.
So through this time frame, I've discovered running, I've discovered lifting weights, I've discovered lots of things about myself and improving myself, and I ran across Mr. Jack in the gym, and he taught me all about running. Now, I used to think I was a runner. I could run, and I bounce, and I hurt myself, and I couldn't figure out why. I never got any better, and I never got any faster. When Mr. Jack and I started talking, and he taught me about his method of running, it was like a light bulb came on. It made perfect sense.
Right.
I didn't have to know angles. I didn't have to Google 1,000 different ways to do things. All I had to do was pay attention to my body. So I've learned